Hello and thank you for joining us on Nationwide, reaching you on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I am Lami Ali. A crucial meeting of the Council of State has ended in Abuja, with members throwing their weight behind the Naira redesign policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria. The Council, however, made a strong case for aggressive measures by the Apex Bank to make available more Naira notes in circulation towards easing the prevailing economic tensions across the land. Details of this report will come to you in the course of the bulletin. Now, the federal government has issued broadcast license to 67 new broadcast stations across the country. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports that Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, Balarabe Shehu Ilela, stated this in a media parley in Abuja.
It is on record that President Muhammadu Buhari has been able to approve a total of 473 broadcast licenses between 2018 and 2023. This feat, Director General, National Broadcasting Commission Balarabe Shehu Ilela said has distinguished the president, giving him a hedge over others.
There has never been a president who approved such a number of licenses within his contained one. That shows that the president is media friendly.
The NBC Director General, who appealed to older new media outfits, told the forum that the agency has procured ultra-modern artificial intelligence monitoring equipment to complement the work of the newly established Central Monitoring Committee.
No locality in Nigeria where a broadcast station exists that will be left unmonitored during this election.
He said plans have been concluded to increase the number of channels on the free TV bouquet.
Sometimes NTA have already signed an agreement to actualizing this in the earliest possible time. The board of the commission has also approved licensing the third signal distributor. Nigeria
now has a total of 740 functional broadcast outfits spread across the nation. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
Paramount rulers in northern Nigeria are recommitting to improving health indicators in the region through mass mobilization and community engagements to boost population immunity and eradicate poliovirus. Ibrahim Danhamidu was at the first quarter review meeting of northern traditional leaders on primary healthcare delivery in Abuja, and now reports.
Available statistics from health experts in Nigeria indicate that the northern region is still threatened by pockets of diseases in densely populated areas where children and women need to be immunized. This significant portion of the population also includes migrants exposed to a wide range of diseases. This formed part of the agenda for the first quarter review meeting on primary healthcare delivery in Abuja.
We shall also very soon be trying the malaria vaccine. Nigeria has applied to receive the malaria vaccine, and that will also be introduced.
The traditional institution, however, claimed frayed nerves, with the Sultan of Sokoto, who was represented, expressing the commitment of the traditional rulers to helping government achieve immunization coverage targets while reducing high mortality.
With a view to assess progress made, challenges faced, share good practices, and exchange ideas with oversight agency officials and development partners.
To set the ball rolling, a committee of northern elders with membership from the 19 states and foreign partners has been set up to explore the existing system of coordination and community governance, with a view to expanding their role beyond immunization.
I congratulate the government of Nigeria for sustaining the status of zero-wild poliovirus.
The health of children is and always has been a top priority for UNICEF.
The target of interruption of variant poliovirus is the end of 2023, and we, together with partners and government and you all, want to do everything we can to achieve that target.
Traditional leaders in Nigeria are credited with the successes of some other health interventions in the country. In Abuja, Ibrahim Nahamidu, NTA News.
The Ministry of Defense has upscaled activities in the armed forces towards supporting INEC and relevant agencies to ensure a secure 2023 general elections. This was highlighted during a media interactive session with the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Defense.
For that, we are assuring the country that the Ministry of Defense and the armed forces are standing behind the Independent National Electoral Commission to ensure that a peaceful election takes place with a peaceful handing over by May 29, 2023.
Similarly, the federal government has provided several platforms for all the services to further secure the nation's land, sea and air domain.
Which we believe in the future, it is one of the major sources of revenue for Nigeria. If you look at some countries that are actually surrounded by water, they survive purely from the maritime. Why is Nigeria not making good use of the maritime? What people choose to call the blue economy.
The Ministry of Defense reassures Nigerians of their safety as the security agencies are putting in their best on the fight against all forms of crimes. Time, which runs through the world like an endless tinsel thread, is about to pass through the center of Nigeria, this time bearing gifts of new leadership to the sailing Nigerian ship. The umpire, observers and electorate are therefore making last-minute preparations for a violence-free and seamless process. Olajide Bello has an update on one of these gatherings to champion the cause.
All eyes on me, a popular line from a rap song. But in Nigeria today, it is all eyes on the forthcoming elections. Activities are at their peak. In the build-up to the elections, such as this gathering, a platform to brainstorm on ways of ensuring a peaceful and credible election. A gesture by the Vision in Leadership Development Initiative and National Council for Civil Society Organizations with focus on protection of critical national infrastructure. Comrade Johnny Emmanuel is the convener.
No nation can develop without the state of national infrastructure. And it's incumbent of us, the civil society and stakeholders, to make sure that we protect these national assets against vandalism and destruction. And I must say that I'm sending this message to the politicians, that during this election period, they must send their cause rights and do not vandalize infrastructure.
One of the focus of the 5-point agenda of the NCC is to facilitate the provision of infrastructure for digital economy. This, we believe, will foster national development, inclusive growth, and economic prosperity.
The concern of management of NYSC is that every youth that has contact with NYSC will not just go dry the way they came into the service.
The event is to create awareness and ownership by the citizenry with a view to protecting public infrastructure and how civil society can be factored into collective security of national assets. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
And Adeola is standing by in Lagos with more updates. Hello Adeola, it's over to you.
And thank you. In less than 3 weeks, Nigerians will go to the polls for the general elections. Although this is not their first time, it will be the first time general elections to be conducted under the new Electoral Act. Introduction of the use of technology is one of the important innovations in the 2023 Electoral Act. Since the use of the bimodal voter accreditation system BVAS is indispensable during the elections, Hengino John Adams interacted with some electorates to find out what they know about BVAS.
Section 47, subsection 2 of the 2022 Electoral Act permits the use of smart card reader or any other technological device that may be prescribed by the electoral umpire INEC for the accreditation of voters to verify, confirm, or authenticate the particulars of the intending voter in the manner prescribed by the Commission. Section 50, subsection 2 says, Voting at an election and transmission of results under this Act shall be in accordance with the procedure determined by the Commission. The use of Bimodal Voter Accreditation System (BVAS) comes to play here, which means voters must come in contact with it. So, what do they know about BVAS?
PVS? No. Anything about PVC, I have not. I'm careless about it.
Somebody cannot use another person's voter's card.
INEC in Lagos explains how BVAS works.
If the voter comes with a card, we check with the last 6 digits of the name, which is entered into the system. Once it is entered, it pops up with an information that the card is valid, it's an INEC card. Then the next thing is, it's either you put your biometrics on the place where you have to do, it checks if the fingerprint is actually yours, or it takes the image, the picture of you.
With BVAS and other technologies like INEC Voter Enrollment Device and INEC Election Result Viewing Portal, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has assured Nigerians that elections cannot be manipulated. In Lagos, Hinginu John Adams, NTA News.
Election, the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has launched 10,000 foot soldiers to canvass votes on house-to-house basis across the metropolis. Musa Toliat reports that All Progressives Congress also received members of opposition parties into its fold at the event in Lagos.
All Progressives Congress foot soldiers were drawn from various parts of the Lagos metropolis. One of the major focus of the event is to educate them on voting process and what it takes to canvass votes from house to house for the election of presidential candidate of APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as well as the election of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
The time and resources wasted on rallies cannot give you the value you will derive if you compartmentalize into cells and you address those cells one by one all over the whole place. That, of course, is one thing that we need to do.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu emphasized that the canvassers should let the electorate know that only the logo of the party will be displayed on ballot papers and not the names of candidates.
We cannot but keep our rightful position. And our position is that we are going to deliver the largest number for our presidential candidate.
High point of the event was the endorsement of APC presidential candidate and Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu by coalition of the opposition parties in Lagos.
We, the coalition of political parties in Lagos State, CUPIS, endorse Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for president.
The convener of the event and Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, urged the canvassers to go back and educate other party canvassers in their polling units on the do's and don'ts during the election.
Our path to victory are our votes. Move everybody out. Tell them some of the reasons why what I have told you today as a reason to allow APC to continue.
The Eko Nibaje 10,000 foot soldiers is an initiative by the Directorate of Election Planning and Monitoring of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
And that's it from Lagos. We'll take a break, and when we return, Agatha in Benin will be giving us stories.
You're welcome back. As we await signal from Benin, let's take more stories from Abuja. Towards ensuring a smooth, transparent and acceptable general election, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Benue State, has continued to engage critical stakeholders to guarantee adequate security in the forthcoming general election. Moses Ode reports that the latest is the meeting between heads of security formations and sister agencies in Makurdi.
The 2023 general election is just weeks away, and it is on account of that the interagency committee, made up of various security formations in the state, are interfacing with the resident electoral commissioner in this hall.
Lines, because every one of us, beginning from me to the lowest staff of INEC that works on election, can go to jail for infraction.
Commissioner of Police Benue State, Wale Abbas, and his counterpart from other sister agencies, including the Nigerian Civil Defense, as well as critical stakeholders of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, assured the electorate of their readiness to provide adequate security.
We assure the Benue people that we will do everything humanly possible to place adequate security for them to exercise their voting rights.
If everybody work in honesty, with integrity to deliver, this issue of pocket of crime and criminality, banditry or whatever will be a thing of the past.
State Coordinator, NYC, Ebe Dankaro, applauded the initiative and commitment of the various security agencies and assured that core members will be deployed accordingly.
He mapped up in response to what I outlined. I think if we are to go by that, the core members will be secured.
Meanwhile, the Commission has begun the movement of non-sensitive materials to various local government areas of the state. This interagency committee meeting is to review the security challenges that may arise preparatory to the general elections or during the conduct of the general elections. In Makudi, Moses Kudi, NTA News. The Accord Party presidential candidate, Professor Christopher Emumulan, says if elected, his party will prioritize motivation and training of security agencies to enshrine the deployment of artificial intelligence in tackling security threats. He believes education is the panacea for sustainable human resource development. Lydia Sampson reports that the presidential candidate and his vice presidential candidate say they are resolved to position Nigeria for sustainable growth across the value chains if elected.
Accord Party presidential candidate and his vice say the party will digitalize the Nigerian system to block loopholes by channeling remittance to appropriate coffers.
To ensure that we digitalize the Nigerian system, to create a system. See, Nigeria's revenue by itself is, if properly channeled, we have so much that we generate in Nigeria that if properly channeled, if a system is created, believe me, so many loopholes we have would have been covered and we'll be sure that what we are generating by itself is going directly to the government coffers. I know the present administration have tried a lot to, like the issue of the harmonization of the funds that we have, and it's good, but there's still a lot to be done.
At the primary school age, in every state goes to school. The system will be changed by Accord in terms of monitoring, because from my experience, most of the monitoring and evaluation is left in the hand of the state governments. The federal government only makes sure that there is due process in the expenditure. But in terms of monitoring and evaluation, federal government does not play significant role.
With aficionado in oil and gas, the presidential candidate also harps on the need to revitalize the nation's refineries as well as harnessing local technology in crude oil production. They are optimistic that with more understanding of the party's manifesto, the party will make an impact in the forthcoming election. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Now, the United Nations Children's Education Fund has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Nigerian Economic Summit Group towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals in education, health and other child rights issues in Nigeria. The partnership, coming few months after the 28th Nigerian Economic Summit, seeks to advocate at the highest policy levels a child-centered approach to development in Nigeria. Olanka Ojo reports.
Data from the United Nations shows that Nigerian children suffer various forms of deprivations, both monetary and non-monetary. The Multidimensional Poverty Index, released in 2022, showed that 2/3 of Nigerian children are multidimensionally poor and lack access to health, education, and income. Today, more than 50% of the children of poor people have poor early childhood development.
So if the child suffers and have negative growth or negative development as an early child, you are laying a not so good foundation.
Now, this partnership is a deliberate step to ensure the protection of children's rights. For UNICEF, correcting the situation requires a lot of commitment from all Nigerians.
There are many complex problems, but we know the solutions, but we need to scale up the solutions.
They, however, call for urgent action to promote the development of children. And when this happens, they can become the leaders and workforce of tomorrow who will achieve the Nigeria of our dreams. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
And academics have been encouraged to deepen research on environmental and social issues for centers in the universities to add more value to what government seeks to achieve in the education sector. This is coming from a stakeholders forum on sustainable procurement, environmental and social enhancement of the Center of Excellence, ABU Zaria. The forum believes that as a signatory to the international bodies on the protection of the environment, Nigeria stands the chance to leverage hugely on the researches conducted by higher academic institutions to achieve its goal in every sector.
If Nigeria wants to champion the cause of third world countries, especially when it comes to climate issues, it has to put so much interest in this very program, because it will allow the country, it will allow us to achieve three things at the same time: achieve value for money, achieve social standards, and achieve environmental standards.
Our own program driver, which is the National Universities Commission, can be approached to see how the two can be brought to the same table, to the same activity, to the same process of certification. But there's need for harmonization of interest.
The idea is actually to see how a critical mass can be developed in these specialized areas for the Nigerian environment.
Participants encouraged tertiary institutions to sustain the drive to make the country a hub of scientific breakthroughs that will propel Nigeria towards the new industrial age. The International Finance Corporation estimates that 40% of micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, in developing countries like Nigeria have an unmet financing and lack the needed information to boost their businesses. Based on this, the federal government has reiterated commitments to ensure that new and existing micro, small and medium enterprises across the country gets the combined capacity, financial funds, as well as the needed information to support their businesses. This will be through the combined efforts of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, and the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, SMEDEN, as the Directors General of the agencies have agreed to collaborate to provide enlightenment and empowerment for MSMEs. The aim is to support government to lift more people out of poverty.
There are quite a number of individuals out there that are yet to benefit from the laudable programs of government, and I think with proper publicity, they will be able to buy into it and also benefit, and that in essence is going to better our economy and of course Nigerians.
We want to have a new beginning. We want to even do more because this agency is very critical, because SMEs are the bedrock of the economy. But at the same time, we should let those people that have benefited one way or the other from our program.
Now, the National Rescue Movement has joined other political parties to throw its weight behind the monetary policies embarked on by the Central Bank of Nigeria, describing it as a good and laudable initiative to reposition the country's economy. National chairman of the party, Isaac Ude, says the party supports federal government's decision to ban the use of old Naira notes, and wishes no further extension is granted to curb money laundering and hoarding.
Down, a process that could monitor the disbursement to the customers of those banks so that the suffering will reduce. And also, if possible, let them increase the withdrawal limit.
Ikude calls on the CBN to make more new Naira notes available to the public and ensure that saboteurs of government efforts to make life easier for the masses are prosecuted.
We are justified by that singular action of EFCC by getting these people apprehended and paraded some of them with heaps of new Naira notes.
As part of efforts to surmount the challenges of circulating the redesigned Naira notes in the hinterlands, the Central Bank of Nigeria, Ilorin branch, is monitoring activities of microfinance banks that are driving its cash swap initiative in Offa of our local government area of Kwara State. The CBN monitoring team was also at the palace of the Olofa of Offa, Oba Mufta Gbadamosi Iswoye II, to solicit his support. Kendi Omolosho has the report.
Port of call was the palace of the Olofa of Offa, Oba Mufta Gbadamosi Iswoye II, where the Director of Consumer Protection, Rashida Mungunu, emphasized the resolve of the central bank to make life meaningful to Nigerians. The CBN, she says, is aware of the challenges of circulation of the redesigned Naira notes. As such, the cash swap initiative to ensure people in the rural areas without bank accounts exchange their old notes. Our appeal to the monarch is to help in sensitizing the people of Offa to swap their old notes of 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira notes for new ones at microfinance banks or from cash swap agents.
Have a positive attitude and be confident that the Naira redesign policy is not to punish anybody. It's a good policy, it's good for the country. It is what we should do so that we make your Naira more secure.
Olofa of Offa, Oba Mufta Gbadamosi Iswoye II, commended the CBN for redesigning the Naira notes, which he believes will help reduce inflation in the country. He wants the Apex Bank to find a lasting solution to the scarcity, which is already having a negative effect on many businesses in the community.
The idea now is for us to be spending both old and new until further notice.
Away from the palace of the Olofa, the CBN team monitored activities at 2 microfinance banks where it was gathered that customers were swapping their old notes for new ones. Funmilayo Kuka, an entrepreneur, is in good mood as she was able to swap her old notes for new notes.
The stress and pressure we undergo here in Offa in changing new notes has been really, really difficult. But
it has not been easy. For the past 2 weeks now, I've been suffering how to get my old notes swapped to new notes.
People's appeal to the central bank is to ensure more new notes are available at the banks for more people to swap their old notes. Kendi Omolosho, NTA News.
It's time to take a break. More reports with Jenny in Port Harcourt shortly.
Welcome to Port Harcourt. The low participation of Nigerian women in politics is of serious concern to Port Harcourt residents, especially as the number of female candidates who emerged for elective positions in the forthcoming election is not encouraging. Gabriel Aminike reports.
According to Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, there are few women in political and leadership space in Nigeria between 1999, when Nigeria returned to democratic rule, and the last general elections in 2019. The highest number of women representation in the Senate was 9 out of 109 senators, and 22 out of the 362 House of Reps members are women, representing the interests of over 200 million Nigerians. Political watchers in River State say the political process and structure of Nigeria polity have so far done little in accommodating the vital role women play in leadership at state and national levels, despite the 35% women affirmative action signed into law.
Now, women are not discriminated based on their sex from representing their clients in courts. So to me, I think that notion is based on the mindset, it's not based on facts.
Women can do better. In fact, if you look where women can even provide more political administration, given the right opportunity. But rather, right now, they are just being used, keeping at second-class people.
Though some positive steps have been taken in River State, with the 23 local government councils having women as the vice chairman, which is commendable. But critical stakeholders are of the opinion that these women are only seen but not heard.
People have been talking of women liberation for years. So where is the liberation if you do not have the knack, you do not have the temerity to come and speak to the press? Where now is the liberation?
They, however, charge more women to show interest and pursue any political positions they desire. In Port Harcourt, Gabriel Amunike, NTA News.
The abuse of hard substances has been a burning issue around the globe, and Nigeria is no exception. Confronting the menace is what the Akwa Ibom State government is doing with the inauguration of a 13-member drug control committee to curb the menace of illicit drug use and its attendant consequences in the state. Kelvin Samuel reports.
Inaugurating the committee, Governor Emmanuel lauds efforts of the relevant agencies in combating drug-related crimes in the state and assures the committee of the continuous support of the Akwa Ibom State government.
The terms of references are number one, to liaise with NDLEA and relevant agencies towards scaling awareness for drugs prevention in the state. Two, to support the framework for all drugs reduction activities in the state. Three, to advise government in the intrastate intervention options.
Committee chairman and wife of the Akwa Ibom State Governor Mata Udum Emmanuel assures that the committee will do everything within its powers to reduce drug abuse and related crimes to the barest minimum.
We will fight against drug abuse, especially in the lives of our children, and we will see a reduction in drug abuse in the state.
The committee is to liaise with the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, and relevant agencies in increasing awareness for the prevention of drug abuse in the state. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
And that's it from Port Harcourt. Is now back to Lami in Abuja.
Thank you so much. Now, Amalgamated All Progressives Congress support groups has expressed hope that its new leadership under Kailani Mohammed will boost the morale of members of the more than 2,000 support groups who are working towards the success of the party and its candidates at all levels. As the end of a strategic engagement in Abuja, leaders of the amalgamated APC support groups acknowledge cordial relationship among stakeholders of the party who have displayed unity of purpose in the interest of the governing All Progressives Congress.
I announce Engineer Kailani Mohammed as the Acting General General of What we ask for from the party is understanding, cooperation and support with the new leadership for the successful outcome of the elections. Also, like to urge all support groups that have left or about to leave to return to a new era and vista of hope has opened for the new groups with a new leadership.
Voter mobilization and enlightenment is the task of group promise to take seriously as the days of elections draw closer. As political parties intensify efforts to woo the electorate in the forthcoming general elections, the FCT Minister of State has described the APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the vanguard of women empowerment above other candidates. This was at the Train the Trainer Summit organized by Nigeria Women Unite for Tinubu Shetima, held at the International Conference Center, Abuja. Ifangi Ezumba reports.
The Minister of State FCT, Ramatu Tijani Aliu, affirmed that the support given to wife of APC presidential candidate Senator Oluremi Tinubu is a demonstration of Asiwaju's commitment to giving political space to women.
Nigerian women that are resolute from all walks of life to stand solidly behind the candidature of the great APC. That is the Bola Ahmed Tinubu Kashim Shetima ticket.
Wife of the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, speaks on her husband's commitment to giving attention to the ordinary women in the communities through the provision of micro, small and medium enterprises.
And 35% affirmative action. I support it, but only with the condition. There are some women who have done well in government.
She further promised to restore the defunct family support program as well as enhance child nutrition, among others. Fanny Izumba, NTA News.
We now join Agatha in Benin for more stories.
Elections have signed a peace accord. It was initiated by INEC and the police in Edo State to promote peaceful electioneering activities before, during and after the elections. Goodluck Inaini has details. Well, I'm afraid that report will be brought to you in the course of this bulletin. But moving on now, Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki says the state is building a world-class library that can accommodate a minimum of 50 million volumes of academic works. He stated this in Benin at the groundbreaking ceremony of the Education Hub. Elizabeth Omoko reports.
It appears Benin is having issues rolling its films. So we continue here in Abuja, where the Nigerian Navy is boosting operational effectiveness of its personnel with the inauguration of a gymnasium complex as the 1006 Naval Officers' Quarters of the Eastern Naval Command. Justina Atim reports that the facility was inaugurated by the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awul Gambo, who said deployments of military personnel depends greatly on their level of mental and physical fitness.
Singular honor and privilege to cut this tape in order to commission this beautiful edifice, gym for officers of the Eastern Naval Command, to the glory of God and to the benefit of mankind.
Over the years, the Nigerian Navy has continued to utilize sporting activities as a tool to build mental and physical capabilities of personnel, all in a bid to sustain operational tempo to contain emerging security challenges. The building and inauguration of this multi-purpose gymnasium center by the Eastern Naval Command will not only promote this cause, but will also enhance all-round physical development of officers for combat readiness. The Chief of Naval Staff also inaugurated Officers Shopping Corner at 1006 Naval Officers' Quarters, after which he was conducted round the facility by the Flag Officer commanding Eastern Naval Command, Rear Admiral Ibrahim Dewu. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
And children of police personnel in Kuje who were attending school outside the barracks will now heave a sigh of relief as the barracks now has a new police children's school. Francis Form reports that wives of the police personnel at the inauguration of the school were full of praises to the IGP for the gesture.
This is Kuje Police Barracks with about 3,000 police personnel and their families. Before now, the barracks could not boast of a primary school. Children of police personnel walk up to 5 and 10 kilometers to attend primary school. Some even encounter accident along the way. Worried by this development, leadership of the Nigeria Police Force decided to construct a befitting school in the barracks. This, the wives of police personnel say, is a dream come true.
They will always appreciate her. God will bless her.
With all this experience that we're experiencing in our barrack, for us to see all this in that Mama done for us, we are very happy, sir.
I am 100% fulfilled with this edifice that we are having here. We thank God with the wisdom of the Inspector General of Police, with his vision to provide good welfare package to his workforce. Because if the workforce is not happy, the society cannot get the best from them.
This unveiling by the wife of the IGP signaled the commencement of academic activities in the school. From Kuje Barracks, attention now shifted to Garki Police Barracks, where blocks of classrooms were also inaugurated by the wife of the IGP.
My administration, as the National Power President, has in no doubt brought about a turnaround in the education of our children.
Her noble action of expanding and upgrading the school has provided additional classrooms to accommodate more pupils and also improve the serenity of the school surrounding.
A project or idea should not die or bury, especially when the idea or project is for the greater good of the people.
I am, on behalf of the children of this command and the wives of this command, thank you very sincerely for giving us this edifice.
Aside the school, pipe-on water is also provided for the barracks. Francis from NTA News.
Standing at the hills of Amangpaka Hills of Ugogonike gives a picture of another fulfilled promise by the President's Muhammadu Buhari administration on the provision of affordable housing for the teeming Nigerians. Mina Adobe Kobasi was as the official commissioning of the 526,060,000 worth of national housing projects and now reports.
Consisting of 24 units of 2-bedroom bungalow, 16 units of 3-bedroom bungalow, 24 units in condominium, that is 1-bedroom 4 units, 2-bedroom 16 units and 3-bedroom 4 units and 6 units of 1-bedroom bungalows. The housing project, awarded May 2017, is set with construction of internal roads and drainages, water reticulation and central water borehole and overhead tanks, as well as electricity.
As we head towards the end of President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure of office, I'm happy to also say that we enter a season of completion when many projects such as this begin to bear fruit.
It is a program born out of the present government's desire to provide affordable housing for its citizenry. The ministry has successfully constructed housing schemes under this program in 35 states.
The President, Muhammadu Buhari, represented, applauded Ugogonike people and Enugu State for making available the piece of land for the project, which he said will afford him an opportunity to fulfill the promise he made the Super Eagles of Nigeria 28 years ago of a 3-bedroom bungalow at their choice state in appreciation for their performance that year.
This housing estate is an example of the fulfillment of that promise of change. With the support of the Enugu State government, who provided the land, this place, which was once unused land, amounting to no more than idle capital, has come alive.
Our state, as it stands,
has become one of the few beneficiaries of this project within the southeastern part of Nigeria. We therefore commend the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, for this laudable initiative.
One of the beneficiaries of the housing scheme, Mr. Christian Chukwu, who was coach of Super Eagles in 1994, expressed appreciation to the federal government for the gesture.
I am most delighted to have taken my semi-detached 3-bedroom.
The general public has been offered access to the housing units in a non-discriminatory way by opening the National Housing Portal at https://nhp.worksandhousing.gov.ng to ensure interested members encounter no obstacles while allocations are on first-come, first-served basis. In Enugu, Minna Adobe Kobasi, NTA News.
Following the devastating Turkey-Syria 7.8 magnitude earthquake that has left thousands dead, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, has commiserated with the government of Turkey over the devastating earthquake that occurred on Monday. The minister, who paid a condolence visit to the Turkish ambassador to Nigeria, Hidayet Bayraktar, on behalf of the federal government, described the earthquake and its aftermath as devastating. She prayed Allah to strengthen the people, especially in this grieving time. The minister says President Muhammadu Buhari sends his condolences and prayers at this time and prays for the repose of the departed souls. Responding, the ambassador of Turkey to Nigeria, Hidayet Bayraktar, appreciated the government of Nigeria and the minister for their condolences and prayed for continued collaboration between both countries. Up next is sports updates.